Yo, what's up YouTube? My name is Shisha Zed. I am back in here, man, with another video for you. You know how it goes. No more wasting time. Let's get it. Recently, I reacted to a video called The Toxicity of the RP Community by the YouTuber Most of Marie. In that video, I addressed what I now realize is a growing lack of understanding of what the RP really is about. You can check out the last video I did on my channel, and I'll tag it in this video here. Today, we've got a new one, and my question is this a trend, right? Is this some type of a challenge? Because I'm seeing more of these videos, and now I gotta get back into it and address them. This video comes from the YouTuber Tony Brian, and much like the other video, in fact, exactly like the other video, I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, man. I am just going to address key points that stood out to me. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Tony Brian, and in today's video we are going to be discussing Kevin Samuels and his followers in the red pill community. So I already know what this video is going to attract: a bunch of angry men. I've already dealt with this in a previous video that I did. Angry men.
Well, here guys, straight up, we see the first show of sign language, right? You can almost count on it every time. Instead of coming to the conversation in good faith and with a positive, open mind, she's already labeled men who might disagree with her as angry. You see, women who approach men like this only prove one thing. You prove that you don't know how to work with masculine men. Simple. A wise woman who wants to have a respectful dialogue, right, between two people or between a group of people who she really doesn't know much about, wouldn't approach these men in her masculine energy, right, if she was wise. Especially if these men were in their masculine energy. But then, of course, she'll probably watch this and have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyways, more on that later. So the video continues, and she makes more like insulting remarks to men who support Kevin Samuels, blah, 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 blah.
And just hearing more and more men that are listening to this man and seeing more comments, especially from like the type of content I make of like angry men coming in my comments. I always call them angry little men.
But what really stood out to me first was this.
So Kevin Samuels is a part of the red pill community. So I'm going to break down what the red pill community is. Okay, so according to the Business Insider, I looked it up. So the red pill is known as the weird new cult for men who don't understand women. That's what they came up with, but it's basically a community of men giving other men dating advice.
That's a lie. And it's important that we speak on these type of videos because what she's doing there is telling a bold-faced lie. Straight up. The RP is not about dating, right? I know on the surface, that's what a lot of these female content creators may think. Why? Because they're not actually listening to understand. I get it. The RP is about truth. Truth about what? Truth about the laws of nature. Not about dating. Again, you guys need to understand this. If you're going to go looking for a video, you probably want to hear this stuff from people who are actually associated with and understand this community, right? It's not about dating, it's about truth. Well, then you might ask, what type of truth? Truth about the way life works. For example, a big part of the red pill is about understanding the balance, the yin and yang of energies. This is where the masculine and feminine energies come from that you see is kind of a repeating theme in a lot of platforms like this. A man who is RP aware learns that in order for his life to balance and run smoothly and more efficiently, he has to embrace his natural masculine energy. After taking the RP, he is faced with the reality that a man's biggest roles on this earth are to protect and to provide. And a man cannot effectively fulfill those roles without embracing that masculine energy. And when it comes to relationships, it's vice versa, right? A man has to seek a woman who has embraced her feminine energy so that his masculine energy and her feminine energy can come to a harmonious balance. But here's the problem. Because women have been misled today by female empowerment and that F word that I'm not going to use to make them believe that they can be that masculine energy and they don't need no man, those energy balances for most men and women are now off, causing problems that we see, especially in our community, right? The Black community, like 1 in 4 women being picked for wives. And of course, single mother homes, these homes who are led by women who believe and think that they can fulfill the roles of a father, that masculine energy. And the RP is a lot more than just that. I just spoke of one of the main pillars of an understanding of the RP, especially when it comes to relationships, right? When you're looking at relationships through an RP lens, it's really all about the balance of those energies for things to work harmoniously, right? Not for one person to be a tyrant, a dictator. No. It's about everybody understanding their role, right? And things being able to work smoothly. And a lot of women would say, well, why can't a woman be a leader? Well, she can be a leader, right? She just can't be a leader to a man who understands his true role on this earth. He's gonna be a simp. Most people who are RP aware would agree and believe that men by nature are supposed to be masculine and women by nature are supposed to embrace their femininity. So here's the question, right? Would you classify most of the women in our community, I'm talking about the Black community, as women who are more in their feminine energy or more in their masculine energy? Which energy have most women today chosen to embrace? All right, I kind of got sidetracked there and went too much into detail about a bunch of stuff. Okay, back to the video. So at some point in the video, she talks about disagreeing with Kevin Samuels about points that he made. And in the same breath, also admits that she's really never heard him speak or doesn't really know much about his content.
So I do find some of the things that, for instance, Kevin Samuels says, there's many men a part of that community, but I don't watch that content. I don't watch Kevin Samuels, but Kevin Samuels is the most popular. So I tend to see him pop up here and there from other people's perspectives, speaking on him and speaking on what he says.
Well, why are you telling us about a man who you have an opinion about that you haven't even listened to? And here's the thing, man, I'm noticing, like, when it comes to these conversations, this is actually starting to be a pattern, right? Women who have opinions about stuff that they really don't listen to. Go watch a full episode. Go watch 2 or 3. There's hella out there. Go watch as many as you can. And I'm not talking about the snippets. I'm talking about the full 2-4 hour ones, right? 3 hours, 1 hour, whatever it is. And then you can make a well-balanced decision. That's just common logic, people. How are you giving advice on topics presented by a man who you say you haven't listened to and haven't even really heard of, right? It doesn't make sense. I mean, that's almost as bad as when Mike Rashid tried to explain the RP.
So basically, Red Pill community is founded on a general belief. This is like, all right, y'all listen to this shit. It's founded on a general belief that women have it better than men. Red Pill is not dating advice bulletin, but rather a forum for people, men mostly, exploring an ideology that revolves almost exclusively around gender. Those who swallow the pill maintain that it's men, not women, who have been socially disenfranchised.
All right, I really wanted to give this certain content creator credit, at least, right, that she acknowledged that men needed a platform to speak their truth.
And I feel like it is good that men are having an outlet to hear from another man besides just making moves on their own, especially in the Black community, because as we know, statistically, a lot of Black men or Black fathers are not in the household. So a lot of Black men are just growing up with their mothers. And I think it's still very important for Black men to have men in their households, a father figure. So a lot of them don't have that. So I think that this is a really good push. It was a good push, but I think the delivery was so wrong on how a lot of these spokespersons or spokespeople for the Red Pill community advocate.
But because of the delivery, she said, oh, just throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And here's what I'll predict. She won't address any of the issues, right? Data, statistics, facts, all because of the tone. Think of how ridiculous that is. And hey, you can try to avoid the problems, right? You're a free person, you do what you want, but here's the issue. Those problems aren't going anywhere. For women who don't like the tone, okay, we get it. We get it. But when are you actually going to address the problems, the issues, the data, the facts, right? Because truth be told, We don't care how you feel about the tone. We care about solutions to problems. That's how men operate. And if women knew how men operate, then they'll realize why we don't care about tone. Is it a fact or is it not? Is it a problem and is there a solution? Those are the conversations that need to be had. She also said this.
A lot of Kevin Samuels supporters are not these high quality men that Kevin Samuels speaks of. For instance, Kevin Samuels considered a high quality man or a high profile man because I believe he has money, I'm sure. I mean, he has quite the large platform, so I'm assuming he has money. And he is an older man from what he considers to be high status. So I believe he is one of those. But a lot of the men that he has as supporters are very angry men that never were able to get a woman, or at least an attractive woman, from their standards. They still live at home. They don't have a great job. And overall, they're just angry with what the world left them with. They're angry at the world. So this causes them to really hate women because a lot of women don't even want them. They're not even in those women's calibers. So they decide to hate all women, and they use the red pill community as a source to spew out their hatred for women, specifically black women.
Listen, guys, I try to be respectful most times, but this video right here, I just see another woman who thinks she knows what she's talking about, but she doesn't. Saying things like a lot of Kevin Samuels supporters are broke and live at home with their moms, and she has no idea how dumb she sounds. Again, 64% of black men are in the middle class. You see, this is exactly the type of woman who hasn't really lived in reality and just speaks whatever she feels, right? Whatever comes to her head. That's what I'm getting from this. Which is why she thinks she can tell us about someone who she hasn't even watched. Think about that for a second. She hasn't even watched him, right? I haven't seen much of him. I don't watch Kevin Samuels, and yet you're on here giving advice. Sounds a bit off balance. For the majority of women out there, including this woman, right? Kevin Samuels' message is this to you. Get back to reality. Those men you're shitting on are your only options. That's it. That's the message for the majority of women who are tuning into Kevin Samuels. Most of you are not going to qualify or get a high value male, right? And it is less to do with you, probably has a lot to do with you, I'm not gonna lie, but it is less to do with you, and it just is simple math. There are not enough men unless if you're willing to share, and Kevin's already had that conversation, right? You all want high value men, but want to keep on operating in your masculine. Ultimately, the message is humble yourself, because even the men who aren't high value, they're not gonna settle for that masculine energy that you're bringing to the table. They don't want that. Then she says this.
So this causes them to really hate women because a lot of women don't even want them. They're not even in those women's calibers. So they decide to hate all women, and they use the red pill community as a source to spew out their hatred for women, specifically black women.
So let me get this straight. Hold on. We hate women in our community because we're not on their level? Really? After all the data and new information you're learning, that's what you're coming up with. If you don't have a headache from this chick, man, then touche to you. And you know me, I deal with it all. But even this, watching this, hearing this was a lot. Notice how we're about halfway into this video and still it's a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with the actual issues. It's just a bunch of things of how she feels. She also said,
so I tend to see the red pill community being a very toxic, degrading, and malicious platform. And kind of like the definition said online, it's like a cult. I definitely feel like they are a cult. It's just so much negativity in that community, and they feed off of that. I've seen certain men react to my videos. I don't watch the videos because I don't care to. I just kind of block whoever made the video because I don't know why you're watching my content anyway if it makes you so upset. And the comments are disgusting. Like, it's like they really want you to grab a rope and end it all. Like, that's like their intention. Now, they're lucky that I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong black woman. What you say does not offend me or hurt my feelings. Like, I laugh at what you say. But say that was someone that was more weak-minded and they really took offense to the things that you say and you really had someone end their life.
So you mean to tell me the lady that started her video off saying things like little men, broke, still living with their mama, unemployed, is now with the same lips giving us a moral speech of how to not say things so we don't hurt other people? Come on. I don't get it. Maybe you do, but I don't get it. And there's more.
And I think the advice given is very toxic for men who are not of high status society-wise, because they start believing they are, and they go around saying ridiculousness that they can't say in person because they could say it on the internet, because most of them don't have profile pictures. It's a safe space on the internet. They think that no one's ever gonna know who they are, but in person they will get dragged for filth, okay? If they ever say half the things that they say in person, because they sound so ignorant and ridiculous, especially if I know who you are in person. I know what your occupation is. I know how old you are. I know how you physically look while you're degrading women's looks. I feel like a lot of his supporters constantly degrade women's looks for no reason. It'll be a beautiful woman, or it'll be a woman that I would say is even regular, but they're so quick to call someone ugly because Kevin Samuels says it's okay to call a woman a 4 when a woman thinks she's a 7 or a woman thinks she's a 9.
I don't know how many times women have to hear this, but not all of you are 10s. You can't be. Also, men have rated women since the beginning of time. It will never end. But at the end of the day, we can't really take a woman seriously who says things like,
first of all, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Here's the obvious cognitive dissonance, right? Yeah, don't let a woman who thinks she's a 10 know that she's actually might be a 5 or a 4 even. But men who think they're high value, oh yeah, those guys are the problem because they're actually broke. And you can say it on YouTube on a public platform, right? To remind them of what they actually are. It's crazy. Now, she also shared an experience of her dating a Kevin Samuels supporter. Check it out.
So for me personally, hearing that a man listens to Kevin Samuels, that is an automatic turnoff. And I'm going to share my story, okay, about a man that I knew that listened to Kevin Samuels. So this man I was talking to, not even for a day. It was maybe 2 days, if that. Was it? It probably was a day. So we were texting, and one time I did not respond super quick because I was doing homework. Finals were coming up. I was doing my homework. And right away, his first stance was, this is why I don't do black girls, because they think they're better than. And I was like, why? You know, I shouldn't even respond it, but I said, why is that your first response? Why is your first response say, this is why I don't do black girls? And mind you, this is a black man saying this. And he proceeds to go on a rant, because this is voice messages. And he was going on a rant about Kevin Samuels and how he listens to Kevin Samuels and he talks about black women. I'm like, oh, you listen to Kevin Samuels. All right, let me leave this man alone real quick. And I know for a fact, just by how he went and how he went off on me so quickly when I was just doing homework and was so quick to degrade black women, I knew for a fact he listened to Kevin Samuels, and he put the icing on the cake by just saying it out loud to me. So I told my sister before I even heard the audio, I said, I feel like he listens to Kevin Samuels. I feel like he does. And he said it out of his mouth. The words came out of his mouth that he listens to Kevin Samuels. I have screenshots and all that, okay?
You probably did the man a favor. I'm just going to keep it real, right? You probably did him a favor. And on the dating black women topic, right? If you'd have spoken to me, I'd say like a few years back, I'd have probably said something like, oh man, don't stop dating black women, bro. Don't stop doing that, whatever. I'd have defended that, right? But I can't expect black men to continue dating black women like I do, right? I can't expect them to choose the same thing, especially when they've not had pleasurable experiences. Just think if the roles were reversed. If this was a black woman, she would be celebrated for leaving black men. That's just the reality. And so, hey, I get that some black men feel the same way and it's their choice. The RP is a lot more than just what meets the eye, right? For people who are actually interested in having respectful dialogue and actually delving into understanding it, it's more than that. It's a place where a lot of men feel empowered, right? To be the best version of themselves that they can be. It's a place where men can be honest, right? And sometimes even vulnerable about the way they feel without the judgment of other people. It's a place that's really helped men out of some dark times, especially speaking for myself, man. It's given me direction personally in my life. And it's just an understanding of your role, your goal, and that you have what it takes, because it's what you do as a man. You get it done. You get up in the morning, you do what you have to do. You want to lose weight, you go to the gym, you lose that fucking weight, right? You want to stop eating that shit that's making you fat, you stop eating that stuff that's killing your body. It's about men improving. That's also a big part of RP awareness. So we have a bunch of men out here who have muzzles on their mouths, right? They've been neutered and they feel like they are lost. They feel like they don't have a place to turn to figure out their true purpose, right? And you don't know until you finally wake up to the fact that you are a man and you are a warrior. And you get up every morning and you fight. You fight. That's what you do as a man. Don't let anybody shame you, because that's how they do it. They shame you into not wanting to embrace your masculinity and shame you into not wanting to be a man, and then you give up. Don't give up. Find that balance. Make it positive. I hate this idea that like This place is just filled, the vocal group is filled with a bunch of whiny people. Yes, there are those in here, but overall, men are inspired to be the best versions of themselves. And when you start to understand that, it's easier to get up in the morning and say, let me go for a run, right? Let me set my alarm up and go hit the gym. Let me try some martial arts, whatever it takes, start riding a fucking bike. But this community empowers men to improve and to find balance in their lives, right? It's not just about dating. In fact, women are the last thing most people in this place are concerned about. Hey guys, my name is Chisha Zed. If you enjoyed this video and you want to do amazing things for me, don't leave without hitting that like button. Let me know what you think of the content, man. And I've got more stuff coming for you. Until next time, stay up. I'm out. Peace.